Now let's bring in the competition into the conversation, because that's what seems to incentivize people to do these long hours, or I'm not doing enough because so-and-so's doing it, or Instagram shows that so-and-so is doing it all hours of the night because they posted that they're up at 4 a.m. working. Do we know that they didn't start at midnight and they've only been working for 4 hours because they had a day of leisure before? Like, there's so much unknown with the amount of demystifying of the process that we see now and then. But I was trying to think of the just the concept of healthy competition, where the incentive is to be happy for others as well as oneself, right? So like, you see someone's success, and this actually comes from the newest Lex Fridman podcast with David Schmachtenberger on it, the idea of the importance of compersion, like feeling joy for others in their success. And that's different than compassion and the feeling of love for someone else. It's like the true sense of joy in the success of others. And then that helps you get to where you're going, because you see it, and you're inspired by it, and you want all the best for others. So there seems to be a negative sense of competition that the incentive of going longer hours is stemming from. The idea of addiction to things, right? The overconsumption of gear and the addiction almost to all the wrong incentives. Like, you're supposed to do this because this person does this. That's not really a good enough reason, because that's not going to work for you necessarily. And it could, but it also might not. So trying to find a healthy balance of competition and the importance of competition seems to be more interest to me than the balance of life.
Finding the competition that makes you excited. Like that's what you ultimately want out of all of this. Is you want, I'm excited when record maker friends of mine are like, let's go crazy. Let's do 3 days. Let's stay at the house. Let's just work all the time. And that makes me excited. But if I'm looking at other people and the times when I look at someone else's Instagram and they're just doing stuff all the time, and then I get bummed out about it because I'm not doing enough, that's obviously not productive. But you're absolutely right. There's ways to do it. There's ways to have the perspective of, I'm excited by my friends making these great records, or people that I don't know making these great records. I used to love, watching, when people go live on their Instagram or live on Twitch or whatever, people in the studio, there's certain artists and things that I just get really excited to watch do things. I love watching the YouTube videos I was actually just watching some last night of Pharrell in the studio. That guy's got there's an endless amount of those, it seems, although I think I've actually reached the end of them because I've watched all of them. So there's not an endless amount, but there are many, many hours of watching Pharrell in the studio. And not that I'll just sit there and watch hours of it, but I'll just put it on for 5 minutes and just see that guy's energy and go, yes, 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 this is why I like making music. And then it'll just make me excited. And he's not in the studio 100% of the time, all the time, but there was an era where he was in all the time. And that's a type of comparison and competition that makes me very excited to make records. I think that's a very positive thing for people.
Yeah, that's healthy. It's healthy to the point where you understand your limitations within these parameters as well, though. Like, if you then stayed up for a month straight because you were inspired and got sick from it, for example, and maybe gained 20 pounds because you weren't mindful, and whatever the negative effect is, then that wouldn't be healthy competition.
Yeah, of course.
And then so your example can be both, is what I'm saying.
Finding your limits is really good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think about that a lot. I think about, I want to be on that record. I mean, these are things that I'm working on. I'm not advanced or enlightened by any means. I'm I see someone that's on a record, or for example, I have 3 songs on a very exciting record coming out, and I want all of it. I'm not going to get all of it, right? But that's, my brain goes, why do I not have all of it? Why does Serban have a couple? I don't want. Serban's got enough records that came out. But maybe there's a lot of reasons why he has a few on the record and I only have a few. There's enough reasons why that points back to, wait, I should be happy I'm on this album, and find gratitude there. And then but that's healthy competition. That's with that amount of understanding that there's a reason why we're both on this record and not I have it all, because it's not healthy to want it all. it's healthy to a degree to want it all, but for what reasons? Because I don't want him to get it. That's not fair. Like that's not good for him. That's not good competition.
It's interesting, and I think James Arthur just announced his album coming out. I know you have a couple of mixes on
two. The single just came out. One of them.
Yeah, the single just came out September. I have 4 productions on the record, and I was just DMing with Eric Madrid, who has a couple of mixes. Manny has a couple of mixes. It's a nice family album, but it's just interesting to see that like that's one of those albums where it's like the A&R and the artist and different people were right for different tracks, and ultimately the result of it is we all get to work on this album, and that's really great. And I'm really excited about that. The only thing I'm bummed about is that you and I didn't work on the same tracks.
I know.
Manny mixed 3 of mine. I might mix my 4th, the 4th one myself, and you mixed a couple of songs. But we're going to finally work on something.
I love that we're at episode 51 together, 51st hour of our Live with Matt Rad, and we've never mixed a song together.
I know it's been a year, and you haven't mixed one of my productions. We haven't co-mixed. We haven't done any of that. Maybe on the one that I'll talk to the A&R. Maybe on the one that I might mix. Maybe I can convince him to just have you come in and co-mix with me.